Hi everybody and welcome back to RebeccaKelsey.com. So I'm going to talk to you today about my nutrition. Not exactly a diet though, for the sake of this video I'll just call it a diet. I don't have very strict rules on myself and I'm not dieting to lose weight. I'm happy with the weight that I am now, but it's just easier to call things a diet. So this is my diet. So I'm going to be looking down quite a bit because I have all my notes written down here. The first thing I'd like to say is that I generally do have a fast metabolism genetically. I just happen to have that, and then accidentally I've trained myself to have an even faster metabolism because I generally get hungry every 3 hours and then I'll eat like a snack, like a portion, like maybe like this much of a portion of something, and then I'm generally full. I didn't do that intentionally. I just for some reason started getting hungry every 3 hours, and then I would eat a little snack or a small meal, and then over time I've been told that that increases your metabolism and can make your stomach not exactly shrink, but it makes you able to get full quicker because you're always having small portions, so your body's used to that. As another disclaimer, I'm not a physician or nutritionist or anything like that. Before you drastically change your diet, you should talk to a doctor. So none of this is meant to I guess, educate you in losing weight or anything like that, because that's not my general aim. Quite a few people have asked me about it, so I thought it would make an interesting video. So the past few weeks, 2 weeks I imagine, I've been just randomly filming my snacks and things like that to incorporate into this video so you can see exactly what I'm eating. I think when I was my unhealthiest, I was in 8th grade, and this is horrible, this is so horrible. For breakfast, I would have a can of Coca-Cola and an ice cream sandwich. Yeah, for breakfast, I would have an ice cream sandwich and a can of Coca-Cola. That's horrible. That is like the worst breakfast ever. It's horrible, it's horrible, it's horrible. And even though I did that every day for basically a year, I was only 10-15 pounds, I think at the most 20 more than I am now. And for my height, I'm like 5'1½", almost 5'2". That's still not overweight. That's still in a normal weight range. So even when I was my unhealthiest, I still wasn't heavier per se just because of my natural metabolism. All the women in my family had it from when they were young. Well, the majority of the women in my family just have been like that all throughout their 20s and 30s, and then probably by the time they're in their late 30s, early 40s, then everything kind of starts to crash. So I need to be aware of that because that's happened a lot with like all of the female relatives I know. They'll be very thin throughout their life and they won't even change their eating habits, and they'll start to really like gain weight. So it's something that I need to be aware of and be more cautious of, and make sure that I incorporate still exercise into my routines so then I don't hit that plateau and start gaining weight rapidly. So that's just what's happened in the past. So again, you know, a lot of this is genetic. As for my actual rules that I give myself, I try not to eat meat more than 3 to 4 times a week. And that's not a strict rule. I just noticed that when I eat a lot of meat, I tend to be more tired and sluggish. So there have been times where like we've had a barbecue and we've had a lot of leftover food, and then I'll have meat every day for dinner for like a week and a half, and I'll just feel totally different and tired and exhausted. But then I notice if I have it just like 3 times a week, my body feels fine. So I don't plan on becoming a vegetarian, but although I do, in my like 30 things I want to do before I'm 30, I do want to try and become a vegetarian for at least a month just to have that experience and to try new foods. But in general, I don't plan on becoming a vegetarian, but I just have that general rule where I try not to have meat more than 3 to 4 times a week. But again, I break that fairly often, and then I just make sure that I do better the next week. It's not always easy because I have a weakness for fried chicken. I absolutely love fried chicken, especially KFC chicken. It's just like, it's mouth-watering. I just love fried chicken, and just the smell of it intoxicates me. And then whenever we're at like a Cuban restaurant, I cannot resist getting vaca frita. It just tastes amazing. I also try to avoid foods that contain high fructose corn syrup, just because I just don't think it's that good for you, and I try to avoid things that are more processed, but I'm not too good at that because there's a lot of things like microwavable foods and stuff like that that I am just absolutely enjoy. So I do cheat on that rule a lot more than my meat rule, but I do try to avoid it. Like if I'm looking for a cereal, I'll make sure that it doesn't have high fructose corn syrup, stuff like that, which is also pretty hard because I am in love with Reese's Puffs. I love having candy for breakfast. It just tastes amazing. But I basically taught myself not to have those sugary, fruity cereals for breakfast because I know that it can't be too good to start off your day with a lot of sugar. So instead, now for breakfast, I actually eat a very, very small snack. And I don't know how this ended up happening. I just started running out of time when it came to school and I would have to grab something really quick, and now I'm used to eating small breakfasts, but I still have to eat breakfast or I will become Miss Grumpyson, Miss Grumpy 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 person, and you can't even talk to me because I will find a lot of reasons to snap at you. So I absolutely have to have breakfast. For breakfast, I usually have Baby Bell original cheese. I just really love Baby Bell. I don't know why, I just really love just having pieces of cheese. For juices, I just like to have something a little bit more than water in the morning. So I'll usually have V8 fruit juices, and then orange juice. My favorite is Florida's Natural. And I also extremely love Naked Juice. My favorite is the Green Machine. I really love their other berry ones too. They taste delicious, so I try to get those whenever I can. They have big ones at Costco that I like to get. And then if I'm really hungry that morning for some particular reason, I'll often add on a banana, or I'll have a piece of toast with peanut butter and butter. If you swipe them on together, it tastes delicious. It makes the peanut butter a little bit sweeter. I don't use real butter, I generally use margarine because to me I'm not in love with butter. Margarine tastes good enough for me, so I just don't have butter. So I'll make sure to always pick up some healthier snacks at the grocery store so I can make sure I always have my Baby Bell cheese. So if not, I get kind of irritable if I don't have my cheese in the morning, which I know is kind of weird. So one general rule along those lines is that if you don't have junk food in the house, you can't eat it. That's a pretty general rule. I know it's tough if you live with a lot of other people and people eat your healthy food and then you're just stuck with their crummy food. I've experienced that and I know it can be frustrating. I put a little section in our refrigerator that's, Rebecca's drawer, do not eat, do not cross, I will kill you if you eat my food. So I always go to the grocery store and get something special for myself and make sure to put it away so that nobody else has access to it. It's kind of greedy, I know it sucks, but if you're trying to do the best for your health and you want to put something aside, other people will respect that. Now, again, along those lines, if there's bad things in your house, you're going to eat them. Like if there's Lay's potato chips in my house, I go insane and I eat it like crazy. I just love how greasy it is, and I just love Lay's potato chips. I don't know what about it, but the smell of it, the same with McDonald's fries, if it's around me, it's gonna go crazy. So as you can see, I do have a little bit of a problem with impulse control. If something's around me, it's hard for me not to eat it. But in general, if I eat a lot of really bad things, then I can be strict with myself and know the next few days that, you can't have that kind of stuff because you were bad. But, it's kind of funny, to treat myself like a dog. You had bad snacks. You can't do this now. I'm not going to play with you. My favorite chips, other than Lay's potato chips, are actually good for me, so that's good. It's Stacy's pita chips, and then I also have them with hummus, and I also have homemade guacamole a lot. I just love those. It just tastes amazing. Hummus and pita chips, I can just eat them and eat them and eat them and have them for a whole meal rather than actually having a meal. Another snack that I often have is a tomato sandwich. I've been having that almost every day. You notice my dog down there. And I just love tomato sandwiches. They're delicious. I got the idea originally from Elle Fowler, All That Glitters 21, and then I kind of tweaked it to be my own. I have a recipe for tomato sandwiches on my website, RebeccaKelsey.com, so if you're watching this through YouTube, make sure to click the link down below so you can see it on my website, and if you're in the blog post, I'll make sure to link it. So I do have my own recipe for tomato sandwiches. It's very simple to make, it's very easy, and I have them maybe once or twice a day, pretty much every day, and it's just really delicious and cute. So I went through some of my favorite snacks and my breakfasts. Another snack that's not really a snack but kind of like a treat that I love is to make sure I have merengues. Probably get them once every 2 weeks or so. They're 99 cents, really inexpensive. I think they have a lot of sugar though. I don't know what's in merengues. It's probably sugar. So I definitely have a weakness for sugar, and merengues, I eat them all in 5 minutes. And then another thing that I have a weakness for that I make sure to only buy myself once every 2 months or something is Ben & Jerry's Red Velvet Cake ice cream. It's my favorite ice cream in the entire world, but I don't want to have it around me all the time because then I know I'm going to eat more than I should. Again, keep junk food out of your house if you don't want to eat it. That's a pretty good rule. If you don't have it, you can't eat it. So I only buy that for myself once every 2 months or so because I pretty much eat it all in one day, and one of those tiny cartons is 1,000 something calories. Now, I don't count my calories. I know a lot of people do count their calories. My fiance counts his calories, but I don't think it's particularly helpful in a lot of cases. I think when it comes to calorie counting, you just keep eating until you get to the end of your calories, whether you're hungry or not. And I think that can be bad because then you'll eat more than you really need to. In general, I just eat until I feel content. I don't eat until I'm full. Sometimes I do, but most of the time I don't eat until I'm full because that's just an uncomfortable feeling. Why just keep packing in food if you're totally fine and satisfied? So that's another general rule that I do. I don't eat until I'm full. I eat until I'm content. Sometimes if I'm at a restaurant, I do eat until I'm full because I'm just like, this is great. But when I'm at home, I don't eat until I'm like bloated and like, oh my God, I ate so much. I feel like I'm having a food baby. So that's, I think, the danger with counting calories is that you're going to eat more than you actually need just because you're like, oh, I have 100 calories more, I might as well get a snack, when you don't even need a snack. So that's something that you should, if you're counting calories, just be wary of. Not that counting calories is bad. For some people, they need to count calories to have that kind of consistency. But for me, and I think for a lot of people, it just doesn't work. You end up accidentally eating more. So now that I went through all my snacks and what I have for breakfast, my dinner is very random because I do live in a house, me included, it's 6 people, 2 dogs and a bird. So not that the pets really matter in this scenario, but whatever. So I generally control what I eat for breakfast and lunch and then all my snacks. And then we have like a family dinner, just whatever Anna or Carlos, Chris's parents, make because I live with Chris and his family. And so I don't really control much there, so that's where a lot of my meat comes from. They'll just make chicken or steak or fish, things like that. And sometimes if I'm not really feeling in the mood for I'll just eat the side dishes like the vegetables and rice. So like I said, some of my weaknesses, I have them all listed here, are like greasy potato chips, merengues, Nutella, other sweets. If I have them around, I have trouble controlling myself from eating them. And one thing that I also forgot to mention is that I don't deprive myself. Like, if I want something, I'll let myself have a little bit of it. I don't say, you can't have this, and be like mean to myself. Because I think in general that can lead some people to binge eat, where they're really good. They're like, no, I'm not going to eat that, I'm not going to eat that. And they do that for a week, and then they have one horrible weekend where they eat like 1 million calories of the things that they were trying not to eat because you deprived yourself so much that once you had it again, you couldn't contain yourself and you had too much. Now, again, I'm not a nutritionist or anything like that. That's just what I've experienced and what I've seen. So I don't really tell myself, no, you can't have this. So I usually, hi! She jumped in my lap. You're a cutie. So I generally don't tell myself, no, you can't have this. I'll just say you can have a little bit. Or I'll make sure I have it like once a week or something like that if it's something that I really enjoy. Like Coca-Cola. I was addicted to Coca-Cola and the caffeine in them. And my favorite is like Dr. Pepper and Pepsi Max. Now, it's not good to have soda for so much and every day and stuff. The way I was having it, I was practically having a 2-liter a day when I was in high school. So I was able to wean myself off of it, and now I only have like 1 cup of soda a week. And that's even if I want it. Sometimes I'll skip a week. And that's usually also when I'm at a restaurant. So like I'll treat myself at a restaurant with a Coca-Cola. So if you give yourself kind of like allowances for these things that you don't want yourself to eat, then you're less likely to break your diets and have 1 million of them. While I'm at restaurants and out in the open, I do treat myself a little bit more because I don't want to deprive myself when I'm out in the open with other people and there's something that I want and then I'm going to be thinking about it, things like that. So generally, I'm kind of notorious for picking the same things at restaurants. I'll get a Caesar salad in most cases, and then I'll get a dessert. I just love Caesar salads. I don't know why. I find them really appetizing. Whenever I see a Caesar salad, I just want to eat it. And then afterwards, I'll have dessert. So that's kind of funny. So I'll have my vegetables, and then I'll have my sugar. So I don't know, that's what I do at restaurants. I don't know, I thought that might be interesting to include. So again, I believe that is all the things that I have in my nutrition and diet. I just try to incorporate a lot of fruits and vegetables when I want sweets, and I don't want to eat something that's, like a bad sweet, like something that has really no nutritional value. I'll try to have fruits like strawberries, things like that. And occasionally I'll have the bad sweets, like I'll add a bunch of Nutella and Oreos, things like that. But since I don't keep as much of that stuff around me, then I'm not as tempted by it. And then I also have a lot of vegetables. I really love having celery with ranch dressing. This is my favorite ranch dressing, by the way. It's the most amazing thing in the world. And then, I'll have cheese in the morning, blah, 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 and meat a few times a week. So that's generally what I eat. I hope that was interesting. I don't know if it's going to be very helpful, but I thought it would be a good thing to share. In the corresponding blog post to this video, I'll explain what I have for vitamins, I know not everybody believes in how well vitamins work for you, and I do know that when you ingest, like physically eat your vitamins through food, it is better for you rather than having vitamin supplements, but I still think it's really important to have supplements to kind of make up for everything that isn't in your diet, and one vitamin in particular has really helped me, and I'll explain that in the blog post. So if you're interested in knowing about my exercise routine, make sure to let me know in the comments, and I'll start filming that. I used to go to yoga all the time, but I stopped doing that just because of the cost, and now I incorporate a lot of things into my daily life that give me a little more exercise without being a burden and without taking too much time, and I don't have to buy things. So that may be more interesting and actually helpful than this video. So if you want to see that, I will do it for you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry this video is so long, but I know there was a lot to cover. So I'll see you guys very soon. Bye. Click the video on the left if you want to see more about our puppy and our recent vlog from last week. And then click the video on the right to see my do-it-yourself shag rug. Thank you for watching, and comment, rate, and subscribe. Bye.